Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Welcome to being here.
Yes.
I'm Ariel.
I'm Shya.
Yeah, he is, and we're
I
doing
was
nothing.
thinking, I was thinking about doing nothing.
Yeah, what were you thinking about?
Well, I just started to read that thing
I didn't do nothing, and
and
it
it felt
felt
real
real good.
good. Another Paradise. When I first met Ariel some 44 years ago,
hmm
she was in a play called Another Paradise, and that was one of her lines.
Yeah, and I actually looked up. There's been lots of different versions of that play gone since then. That was my last off Broadway show. And that line stuck with me. And I realized it really can be a treat to let go of your to do list and simply be.
Well, you know what happened today?
What?
You went off to your
Acupuncture?
acupuncturist,
Mm-hmm.
and I did a load of firewood.
Mm-hmm.
And I came in and I sat down by the wood stove and I did nothing. And I
Mm-hmm.
realized that today's show, I looked at my phone to see what was happening in my agenda for today. And it was, we have this show or podcast doing nothing. And that's what I did.
Mm. I
And
have recently found that from time to time, I'll mentally stretch my to-do list like a skin over top of whatever I'm not doing and
well, thinking that you should
be
be.
doing. And recently, I've been able to let go and simply be where I am for more sustained
But,
periods of time. And
you
it's been
know,
a real treat.
we lived in a meditation center about 40 years ago for a couple of years. And one of the things that was said was a poem of some sort that went, sitting silently, doing nothing, the grass, spring comes and the grass grows by itself. And in life, we struggle to get to what we think we need to do and get things done and produce and make things happen. And yet, with all that struggling to get where we're going, we only are where we are. And, you can drive yourself to get to what you think will provide satisfaction and well being, but satisfaction resides in the moment. And if you don't know how to discover the moment that you're in because you're driving to get somewhere else, and there's no satisfaction, even if you get to what you wanted, because there'll always be something else that you think will make it possible to feel good when you don't.
When I got home from the acupuncturist, I was taking a little snooze down. And I looked around. I had maybe 20 minutes of quote free time. And I did nothing. And nothing looked like put away the groceries, strain the turkey bones out of the turkey broth, uh, put things in the refrigerator, make tea, do dishes, make coffee, uh, etc. I did so many things whilst doing nothing. There was no forward momentum. I just did what was in
Right
front
in
of
front of you,
me
huh?
and also what I had an interest in. So lunch is made, everything, dinner is set. It was very efficient
Organic.
and organic. And I think lots of times people think they don't press, they don't force, that they won't accomplish their goals. What if there's an easier way?
Yeah.
Let's start with that. I know we generally speak about listening, so I just want to take a little sidetrack before we take our first guest, especially because we're doing the Power of Listening course coming up in New York City. I have really discovered how listening to myself, listening to you, like listening not to the thought process going in my head, but that organic sense of knowing is such a valuable skill set.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we take Elka?
Yes.
Oh, Elka, welcome to being here. Tell people where you're zooming in from.
Hi, Ariel and Shya. Here is Elke from Hamburg in Germany.
Yeah, lovely to have you with us.
Yeah, I like it as well.
You
And
look good.
thank you.
Yeah.
And it feels like doing nothing for me being with you here at the call. And I waited for it. I had my grandchildren, my two granddaughters here during the afternoon. And even this felt like doing nothing, even if I had to do quite a lot, reading books, changing pampers, and such things. But it was with ease.
Nice.
But in other times, I feel really in a hurry. And that's what I wanted to talk about with you. Um, when you, Ariel, talked about getting ready with your with what you bought, putting it in the how is it called
Cupboard.
cupboard.
Yeah.
It felt really good, and I know these things when I go to the market and see people and chat a bit, and then go home and put my things aside. But I know so many moments where I hurry through the day and yeah, and where I even can feel my body, my heart pumping, feeling tired, and you can see my face now. I can see my face. It's
Well,
like
where do you think you should be other than where you are in that time? What are you working on, striving toward? Have you caught it?
I think I have too many things on my to-do list and don't and the day is too short. I don't have enough hours in the day to
Good for
accomplish
you.
it.
Good for you. But I think it's something else.
Mhm.
See, I think your initial programming and conditioning growing up where you grew up, in the family you grew up in, they were not lazy people.
No.
They were driven to get things done. And you learned that that was the right way to be as you went through your life. And so you've
No.
strived to achieve and get better, and as if there's something wrong if you just sit around and do nothing. That would be, how would your family have thought about somebody who sat around and did nothing?
Mm, if, foolish? No. No. What is it? Not doing nothing as it's not good. It's bad. It's
Exactly.
Mhm.
So that's what started this whole thing, the drive to get somewhere else. But there's something I want to talk about, the three principles of instantaneous transformation,
mhm.
because that's actually what's going on. You see, it's like this moment that we're in your mind or to your mind, to that voice you listen to that tells you you have to get more done. That's the thing. It thinks that a better you would strive harder to achieve, and so you strive harder to achieve, looking for fulfillment of some sort, satisfaction,
Yes.
well-being, as if when you achieve that, you'll be satisfied. Now, look, I know you've achieved many, many things in your life.
Yes,
When
I
we
have.
first met you, you were working as a medical doctor and had been for years.
Yes.
You've recently written a book that I'm sure is doing well, but you think it should be doing better.
Yes.
see, that's nothing is good enough.
Like we heard you had the biggest and best book launch that they had ever seen. And yet
That's
it's
right.
not enough.
And yet it's not enough. You're a sex coach. You talk to people about sex. And I find that very interesting. And I'll tell you why. Uh, Ariel and I are still active sexually.
Hmm.
And the quality of my orgasms has shifted over the years because I'm 85 years old by the time this thing
Is
is
released?
released.
Yes.
This podcast is released. And so they're not as intense as they used to be. But I don't really remember how they used to be because I only have the one I have when I have it.
Hmm.
And I could think it should be more or better or different. But what the interesting thing is, I enjoy sex. I enjoy touching and being touched. I enjoy the feeling of love that we express for each other for quite a while before I have an orgasm. So if I'm going for an orgasm, for that moment of and then it's over, well, then it's over. And now where are you? So you can either be in each moment of your experience of living, whether that's eating a steak, drinking a beer, sitting around with your friends and having some wine, or having sex. It doesn't matter what the specific thing that you're doing is, it's whether you're there while you're doing it. See, if you have to think about getting somewhere more, better, or different, you're never in the current moment of your life.
Yes.
So, first principle, what you resist persists and grows stronger. The second principle is this moment is perfect exactly as it is. And you are perfect in this moment exactly as you are, with, all those things you think ought to be different.
Yes.
But it doesn't matter. You can't be different than you are in the current moment. But you have a mind, a conversation you listen to that has all kinds of ideas about how you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to act, how you're supposed to talk, how you're supposed to walk, how you're supposed to dress, how you're supposed to everything, rather than you being allowed by you to be okay, being exactly as you are in the current moment. And oh, by the way, you can't not be the way you are in the current moment. You can only be exactly as you are in the current moment. Now, the moment changes, but that's irrelevant, because if this isn't it in the way you approach life, then nothing will be satisfying, even if you are on the best-selling list and you have the best book about sex that's ever been written.
Yes, I know. It's much better to enjoy the time with Dieter
And Dieter's your husband, yes.
my husband. Yeah,
Yes, it's much better to enjoy the time.
Gratefully, it happens, and I enjoy it, and I find moments where I do nothing. And yes, and what before we started with the call, I thought about the times when I was in Costa Rica, and this is also for me an experience of really doing nothing and enjoying myself, enjoying you and all the people around there, and just
Well, that's why we
being.
have that, you see,
Mm.
because all all the people we work with are very successful in their lives, even though they may not think they're as successful as they should be. Sound familiar? And so taking them to a nice place where they can relax and just be is not necessarily relaxing or comfortable for them, because they're so driven to get somewhere.
But third principle, anything you allow to be exactly as it is completes itself. So what you're describing in Costa Rica, for instance, Elka, is you come exactly as you are. And we do our best to set up the circumstances to allow you to be.
Exactly as you are. And as you bring awareness to how you're being, your life transforms. Just by seeing, not doing something. Here's the other thing. We've all been conditioned and programmed about the right way to be. And so the conditioning, the programming talks to you about how you're doing everything. But when you're in the current moment of your life, that voice shuts down and you're in the experience of living, not the thinking about living. And in the experience, you're amazing.
Yes, there's hope. Yeah. No, I know what, that's not what I think. I can feel what it's about, and I feel really relaxed now. And yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. You're just such a beauty. If you only could see you through our eyes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being with us today, Elka.
Have a great day, Elka.
Thank you. Likewise.
Hey, you want to hear about transformation?
Mm-hmm.
We've got one of our listeners about to tell you about what's happened in their life out of listening to being here.
I'm Leah in South Orange, New Jersey, and I love the podcasts and the Transformation Made Easy seminars. And every time I walk away discovering how capable I am, how when I'm really being in my life, solutions become available, and whatever the circumstances are, I can navigate it with ease.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shya's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
Well, we're almost to our next virtual seminars. They're 2 hours. We have one on Monday, February 16th, and then the Saturday after that on the 21st. They're wonderful. It's a great way to meet people like Elka and, of course, be with us in the entire community. And I'm telling you.
Well, it's not the entire community. Because
bits and pieces on any given.
Right, right.
And, but don't come if you're not willing to risk finding out how great you are. I'm just saying, people are so amazing and they so underestimate themselves. We have a couple of weekend seminars coming up in person. As I mentioned earlier, the Power of Listening is happening in March. It's a Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday.
It's in person in New York City.
And then we're going to Hamburg. We get to go to Elka's neck of the woods. We're doing 2 courses there.
The Freedom to Breathe on May 14th.
Which is a Thursday.
And Being Boldly You. And that's Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah. And Costa Rica 2027 is open. Either of the weekend courses are the prerequisite. Coming to a weekend seminar throughout the year is one of the prerequisites to attend. So if you want to know about any of our seminars or you'd like to sign up, just go to transformationmadeeasy.com. All right, Utah.
Made easy.
Made easy. Living made easy. Hey, Utah.
Hey, this is Jutta. I'm calling in from Hademstorf, a small village in Germany.
Lovely to have you with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Mm.
I was actually struggling a little bit with the title. It speaks to me, and at the same time, I'm really I have those moments during my day when I want to do nothing and have the feeling, okay, I want to relax and I need to relax. And then I'm sitting there and I'm doing everything but relaxing, but my mind is running off to what I should do at that moment. So it's kind of lost.
Your mind that's running off to what you should do is the same voice that tells you you should relax. Because see, anything you resist, you intensify. So it identifies that you're busy or you're busy in your mind. It judges it, tells you you should relax, but it's the same thing going, oh God, I didn't do that email. Or, oh, I have to. I want to talk to you about something because I have an image of you doing nothing that I think you've underestimated or you haven't recognized. I know that you are a really accomplished, award-winning equestrian, a horse. You go to
Horseback rider.
You go to shows and you and your horse perform and then you win awards.
Yes.
And you do your best when you're doing nothing. Because when you're anticipating the next move while you're in the midst of this move, your horse makes mistakes.
Right.
And when you've discovered how to be where you are in the saddle, not talking to yourself about how you made that last maneuver or the maneuver that's coming up, your horse is settled underneath you and you're very, very accomplished. And it does not delete the fact that you would like to win that competition.
That's true.
So I think sometimes when you hear doing nothing, it's like, oh, I'm going to become a couch potato. When really what it is discovering how to be
where you are.
Yeah, and I actually it reminds me of the when we started this show, when you were talking to Elke and when you were telling about coming home, putting things away, doing nothing but putting everything away into the fridge and stuff, and that reminds me of that, because to me that wouldn't mean doing nothing. Or it didn't
But
mean.
you see, here's the thing. What Ariel was saying about that is she wasn't thinking about what to do. She was looking and was seeing what her universe, her environment was telling her needed to be done, and just doing it. So it wasn't as though the voice in her head was saying, okay, now you need to go back out to the car and get that other bag of groceries. It was the obvious.
And it wasn't going through whether or not I wanted to. I got home, I walked in the door, and I'm like, the house is quiet. Shya is probably sleeping somewhere. There was a distinctly different. So it was kind of fun to put things down in a way that wasn't like, I'm home, get up. And
entertain me.
When I put the bag down, I knew I had 2 bags of frozen vegetables in there. Talking to myself about whether or not I wanted to put them in the freezer would have been irrelevant. It was just kind of like getting to your driveway and deciding not to pull the car in because it's just too much work. You know, it was an obvious next evolution of that moment.
But the thing is, Jutta, it's not telling, the voice in her head wasn't telling her what to do next, except when it was. Even, like, you ever driving home, you drive a car, right?
Yes, I do.
And you drive from a certain direction. and you drive into your driveway, and you're going to either make a right or a left, right? To get into your driveway.
Yes.
What do you do, right or left?
To the left, backwards.
Yeah, so you go to the left. So every time you come home, you're going to make that
Okay, I'm
left
gonna
turn.
back in now to the left.
And the voice in your head, even though you're going to do it and you're in the midst of it, it says to you, now make that left turn, or you got to make a left here, or like you're an idiot. It treats you like you're an idiot.
We are often talk about how transformation is instantaneous and then it's cumulative. So we did courses all through the year last year, and one of the courses we did was transformational time and project management. We put together a WhatsApp group for the people who were attending. It was a virtual seminar last year, and I put out a message one day like, wow, it's amazing how much I could accomplish in 5 minutes. I just set my alarm for 5 minutes and saw what I could do. So when I got home and I realized I had 35 minutes or 40 minutes until this podcast, I thought, wow, if I can get as much done in 2 minutes or in 5 minutes, I can relax and see what wants to happen in these few minutes. So it was a relaxation rather than a drive to accomplish as much as I could before we needed to get up here in the office.
Well, you can only get done in one day what you get done in that day.
Elka said something that was inaccurate. She never has too much on her.
That's true.
Her to-do list. You have exactly the amount you have.
And it doesn't matter whether you get it done or not. That's what you have on your to-do list because your mind likes to be occupied.
And sometimes we hold our to-do list over ourselves so we don't have to be intimate with our partners, our environment. We don't have to be here. It's like a buffer.
Yeah, I've got so much to do. Don't bother me.
I know that feeling, yeah.
Right. Well, what if you don't have anything to do? You just have to be there and see what shows up.
There's a holiday here recently, and I turned to Shya the night before. I said, do not let me work tomorrow. Because I'm so used to slipping in a little bit of this and a little bit of that, of things, nibbling away at projects. And it was very interesting. It was like a 4-day holiday weekend to not only take that day off, but then the Sunday off as well and do nothing. It was shocking how much energy I had to do on the Monday. And then on the Tuesday, it was like I rejuvenated myself by not picking on myself when I was allowing myself to be.
And there's this artificial reality that we live in that's created by the culture we live in. And in that reality, we have to get things done.
Yes.
But, we have a cat. Our cat does not feel bad about sleeping in the middle of the day.
And she looks so sweet. I love watching all the different, I can tell she's really sleeping when she folds her paws in, like she's not ready to escape, or she'll cross her front paws over her eyes to just like go, I'm out of here. I love that.
She doesn't feel bad about not getting something accomplished. We do, because we've been programmed through guilt that we are bad people if we are not working hard. Rather than enjoy where you are. You can't be anywhere else. So if you have a task like washing dishes, this morning there were some custard cups in the sink. Of course, last night, Ariel and I had custard. Oh, and by the way, I had another one somewhere during the day.
Good for you.
And they need to be washed, though, because the top of it gets crusted to the side of the custard cup from the heat of the oven. And so I have a steel pad, a steel wool pad that cuts the crust. And so if I'm there while I'm doing it, it's like such a cool thing to remove that crust that's
And then
hard to get
run your
off.
finger around and it's smooth.
Make sure it's all
Ooh.
cleaned out. Then I put it in the dishwasher. Otherwise, you put it in the dishwasher, chances are it's still going to still be crusty when it comes out. But it's like being there doing it is a cool thing to do when you're doing it like you want to do it. Otherwise, it's a chore. See, then
That's
life
right.
becomes a chore.
Well, you're
Then
doing the same thing.
feeding your horse hay becomes a chore.
I gotta feed my horse. Gotta groom it.
Yeah. I know both feelings really. Being there and enjoying, grooming my horse, feeding her, and I also know the feeling when I'm looking at my watch, like, oh, I gotta hurry up, and
Get
it's
this
very
done so I
different.
can get on to the next thing that I don't want to do either.
Well, here's what's neat about that, Utah. It's not that when you're really there enjoying grooming is better than the Utah who's trying to get it over with. The Utah who's looking at her watch and going, oh God, I got to get this done, it's information. Third principle. If you see that you're looking at your watch, you're trying to get it done, it's information to you that you're
But
either a little upset.
what this is interesting about is we do Pilates. And so when I'm with my trainer doing Pilates, when I'm really there, I don't care about the clock on the wall. I just notice, oh, I just completed this whole session and I never thought about the time.
But if he's off center somehow, it's a different experience.
It's like, how much more time do I have left till I get over with this?
So your life, moment to moment, is providing you information. It's kind of like, aha, I'm a bit ahead of myself. Or I can't remember the other day, we have the same instructor, but we go different times because we are working different things. And she said, did you stop breathing? And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. I was holding my breath. I got lost in a thought.
Right.
I followed a thought. And she's like, I can always tell when your face gets red, because it's almost like holding their breath. It was pretty funny. And then it wasn't like, oh God, I stopped breathing. It was informational. And I love saying, oh, she'll look and she'll be, you're a little cockeyed today. My body from time to time is totally straight. Other times one shoulder is lifted. It's like looking to see where you are as opposed to judging where you are as good or bad. So, oh gee, I'm totally straight today is not a better day than the day I start out a little askew. It's about looking and seeing without judging what you see.
That's so lovely. And yesterday I trained my horse and I had a very nice session with her. And it was not that everything was like the end goal, like, oh, she was great, she was performing great. It was, I was looking, where is she? How is she moving? And where is she having maybe difficulties? Then look how to deal with that. And then the whole process and every moment of that process was very fascinating. And that's very neat. Yeah.
I like what you just said. When you get fascinated by the process of life you're in that moment of.
And you weren't like going, oh God, how are we ever going to get ready for this next competition? It's like, oh, this is a little difficult for her today. Huh, that's interesting.
And you're seeing it might be enough to fix it. See, that you bring awareness to it, she brings awareness to it. I had a horse once. She was workhorse. And we used to pull logs out of the woods with the horse, And so, but I noticed whenever my thoughts went away, my horse would take off. She had a mind of her own. But if I was really there with her, she behaved. But
And
she
you weren't
needed-
riding her either.
No,
You
I
were
wasn't.
behind her.
Yeah, but I needed to give her all my attention, otherwise she would misbehave, you see. That meant she'd pull me through the woods on my belly.
Mhm.
And,
I can imagine.
she weighed 1,000 pounds, you know.
It's like, yippee, here we go.
True.
But it had to do with my mind going off to work on something else. See, where you are is where you are in any given moment. And if you're really there, things work out quite well.
Mm.
If your thoughts about what you should do, where you need to get to, what needs to be done, well, then that's the recipe for disaster.
Yes.
I like speaking with you today because I keep being reminded how fluid life is if you let it. You know, there are days you wake up and your body may have an ache or a pain, and there are other days you may hop out of bed, and there are days you have a fascinating time with your horse, and other days where you're wishing for the time to be over with. And if you operate like an anthropologist with yourself, where you're noticing how the culture of Utah is operating, life becomes this incredible adventure.
Yeah. Lovely.
I'm so happy you're with us today.
Yes.
Really.
Thank you. I'm too. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for volunteering to be a guest on this podcast and having a conversation that basically I know you got a lot out of the conversation. We got a lot out of the conversation, but there's something so selfless about it, Utah. It's a really beautiful give back to people.
It's a gift to people because it allows us to talk about what we can't really talk about. And
hypotheticals are really boring.
Exactly. You know, we could talk about it as a hypothetical, or your questions can elicit our experience as an answer.
So thank you.
You're welcome. And it goes really both ways. It's such a gift for me as well. So many, life is so different, and to be able to see life newly from moment to moment is such a gift. And I could discover that with visiting your workshops and talking to you and sharing my ideas, my life, my experiences, my questions.
Yeah. Well, then it comes down to this, Yuta. If I were to summarize things, you are a gift. So thank you for being the gift that you are.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, you can subscribe to this podcast. You can share it with your friends. And you can subscribe to our newsletter. There are people like you who we do videos, and the video of the month always has somebody from our community who we find inspiring. There are blogs. There's the information about upcoming courses. We've had a lot of people over the years who have had the courage to make the leap from being a listener of this podcast to saying, hey, I want to try some of that, and giving themselves the opportunity to be more actively involved. You're invited, should that be for you. Next week's episode is on the theme of
self-expression.
We'll be back next week.
So come on back.
And don't miss
being here.